Yo, I ain't here for the money, I ain't here for the fame. Though it might be nice to own a jet plane, I'ma do it all for you.
What is up, trainers? PoGo Joel here, coming at you with another Kingdom Cup video. This time we're going to be covering the Steel meta. And the Steel meta surprisingly has a lot that we can use for this cup. And it has something for just about everyone. If you find any of this content helpful, please drop a like, subscribe. I really do appreciate it. And now, without further ado, let's get into the video. First we have Lucario, a Steel and Fighting type Pokemon with an attack stat of 236, defense stat of 144, stamina stat of 172. Lucario is going to be weak to fighting because it's part Steel, Fire, Rock, and it's going to resist a lot of things over here on the right, most notably Rock, Dragon, Ice, and Steel, which are all types that we will be seeing here. So up first, we did go up against Lapras. Anytime you go up against a Lapras, that's a positive matchup for Lucario. You can farm it, you can get your Power Up Punch on it, it's going to be good for you. And then a Lucario versus Lucario won't be a good matchup for you. Fighting anything with a fighting move against you is going to hurt. So if you go up against another Lucario, you'll take each other out pretty much. And then that Steelix, that's going to be a good matchup for us. And some more important things to know about Lucario is that in this meta, it's something that can't be replaced. Honestly, it's very hard to even just get one. You hatch them from eggs, and even when you hatch them, they still have to be under about like 80% or so they can actually even qualify for the Great League. And then you could trade them in the hopes of getting bad IVs, kind of like with Muck. I have had that, and luckily I did hatch one who just made it perfect right there. If you hatch one, be sure to buy the secondary move when it's Riolu, because it's 10,000 as a baby Pokemon, but 75,000 once you get past that if you evolved it without adding that second move. But some important matchups that you will see. Against Bastiodon, it'll beat it. Against Blaziken, get out of there, it's gonna hurt. And yeah, there's nothing in this cup that can replace a Lucario. But don't worry if you don't have one. I know it is very difficult to get one. You can actually be prepared by having some Pokemon ready for it. So look out for Altaria. That's typically not a good matchup for Lucario, but it is something that it can go toe to toe with, and if used properly, you can get the upper hand on it. Maybe even hit a Shadow Ball. See what we do here. Power Up Punch. Now the Power Up Punch is the move that can't be replaced by anything in the meta, because Power Up Punch does make your attack stronger. It boosts it every time you use it. So every time you get it, and you can get it like maybe even a Pokemon that you can farm it on, you're just building up your power, building up your attack power, building up that attack stat, and then you can end up doing more damage in the long run if you can keep getting Power Up Punch off. But also know when to use Shadow Ball. There's going to be opportunities where instead of hitting that Power Up Punch, you hit Shadow Ball, and it comes in handy. And then be careful for a Alolan Marowak. You don't know what's coming in. If you notice that your health is going down too fast, it most likely has Rock Smash. And you'll also be able to tell with the animation, because Hex has purple little spirit things going on the sides, like little gases, but not Rock Smash. So if you see Rock Smash, get out of there. That could be a bad matchup for you. But other than that, there's not too much to worry about. Lucario is a little bit squishy, so you will need to save your shields for it. How many you invest is totally up to you and how you build your team. So he is the sword. If you build your team properly, you can actually have some shields that will absorb the hits without wasting your shields. So there's Pokemon out there that can definitely do that for you. Up next we have Bastiodon, a Steel and Rock type Pokemon with an attack stat of 94, defense of 286, stamina of 155. Its weaknesses are against fighting, 4 times weakness, ground, 4 times weakness, and water. All things that we will see in the meta. And it's going to resist a lot of things, most notably flying, dragon, ice, and rock. So definitely has some great resistances here. And it's just so bulky. It's the perfect shield in this meta. So if Lucario was the sword, Bastiodon is the shield, but be careful, because if any fighting comes at you, you're in trouble. Surprisingly, Steelix can outlast Bastiodon in battle. It's pretty crazy, despite even having Flamethrower. Definitely want 2 moves on this guy. He's the most expensive one in the meta to get. Not everyone is going to be able to bring it in, but don't worry, we have some options for you later on if you're not able to get one. This is kind of like for the big ballers, the hardcore players who are out there grinding and searching, trying to get this up. The good news is you might not actually need even to power it up all the way to that 1500 mark area, just because I've seen people using it not fully powered up and still having success. That's how awesome Bastiodon can really be. But no worries there. The 2 moves you're going to definitely want are Flamethrower, just for coverage, and it's the fastest move it has, the only 2-bar move that it has. And then Stone Edge is going to help you edge out some of the flyers and some of these other fire types that are in here. I would just stick to these 2 moves. There are some other options, but you have Smackdown as your fast move, and Smackdown does so much work already. Let's see what we do to this Charizard here. So we are Steel. He has, he's Dragon Claw, but yeah, it's gonna be able to withstand a lot of these things, so don't worry there. Lapras is supposed to be a negative matchup. Let's see how this actually works out for us. We are able to take Surfs pretty well. If we can get a Flamethrower off, we might be able to pull this off. Nope. Let's see. So close. Nope. You did your job. Up next, we have Melmetal with an attack stat of 226, a defense stat of 190, stamina of 264. Weaknesses are to fighting, fire, and ground, because it is a steel type. So this one's a little bit expensive. It is 400 candies to evolve, but oh my gosh, it is so worth it. I have one here with the extra move unlocked. That is 100,000 Stardust and 100 rare candies. I do have Nintendo Switch, so I'm constantly getting those boxes for this. No worries there. If you don't have access to one, no worries. We'll have more options for you later on. But if you do have access to one, you're definitely going to want to have Rock Slide as your fast move, because it charges up so quickly and it hits a lot of things hard. If you can afford both moves, awesome. You want Thunderbolt and Rock Slide, but definitely Rock Slide if you can have only one. Up next, we have Steelix, a steel and ground type Pokemon with an attack stat of 148, defense of 272, and stamina of 181. Its weaknesses are fighting, fire, ground, water. And resistances on the right. We do resist some of the great things here in this meta. And Steelix is going to be a really great option. You definitely want 2 moves on it with Crunch and Earthquake. And then Steelix walls Bastiodon, so if you're going up against a Bastiodon, Steelix can outlast you. Even if it just uses crunches, it'll outlast you at the end. It'll look close, but it's deceiving. It can beat up on any of the flying type Pokemon, and it will lose to Charizard, unfortunately. And it's going to be weak to fire and water, so watch out for those Pokemon with the fighting types. So we have some of the common threats you're going to see are Blaziken, and if you're going up against Lucario, get out of there, watch out. And if you're going up against a Alolan Marowak, pay attention to your health. If it's going down too fast, you might be going up against a Rock Smash and you might want to switch out. Totally up to you, but just some of the things that you do have to worry about with Steelix. But it is such a great option to bring in here. Now, remember when I said watch out for Alolan Marowak? Well, there's the little spirit purpley balls up in the side. That's when we know it's Hex, and Hex isn't going to do too much damage to us. So this is a way more manageable matchup. But if it did have Rock Smash, we'd see a little rock falling animation. That's the one you want to look out for. But with this matchup, it could be a little more even. Shadow Ball is going to hurt, so totally up to you on if you stay there or if you don't. Let's see what happens here. One shield, definitely can do it. Now here's another one of those bad matchups. Fighting is gonna just destroy us. Look at how far we are, and Crunch is a very fast move. That's where we're at right now, and that didn't use a shield at all. It's a great option. Next we have Skarmory, a Steel and Flying type Pokemon with an attack stat of 148, defense of 226, stamina of 163. Its weaknesses are going to be only to Electric and Fire. And resistances on the right, it resists a lot of the good things in this meta. Alrighty, so some important matchups to know are the Altaria matchup. You can beat an Altaria. Shields might come into play, but if you yourself don't have an Altaria, Skarmory is a good replacement for that. If you don't have access to any of the other flyers, Skarmory is a good option for that. I know some people are down on it this time because it's not the best flyer you can bring in, but if you don't have anything else, this is a great option. Even if you do have other options, you might want to give Skarmory a look here. It's going to be a very great Pokemon for you to bring in. It does have some key matchups that it's going to help you out with. It's going to take care of those fighters. It's going to help you out with Altaria. You will have to use shields, and that's going to probably be its main matchup. We saw that in the Tempest Cup. Yeah, Bastiodon's not going to be a good matchup for you, but no worries there. Let's see how we do against Lapras, since Lapras is another common option that we'll see. I'm really interested to see how we do. So that Lapras took it without the shield. We took Surf, and they seem pretty even so far, but Water Gun is so neutral and hard hitting to us, surprisingly. Ooh, Ice Beam, good prediction. We didn't block the first time, we blocked the second time. They block, who's going to get it? So do you really want to be off meta and bring something super unique in here? Check out Bronzong, a Steel and Psychic type Pokemon with an attack stat of 161, defense of 213, stamina 167. It's going to be weak only to Fire and Ground from this meta, and it is going to hit very hard with Confusion. The Confusion damage is so brutal. This reminds me of Venomoth from that cup a while back. Here we are hitting it. And then you do have some options on the charge moves. If you want a 2-bar move, there is a 2-bar steel move, but with one more tap you can just go ahead and get that 1 bar off. And it just does so much damage to a lot of the main meta players. So it can destroy Lucario. It can go toe to toe with Altaria. So watch out there. And if you bring in Blaziken, it can definitely mess with you. Now, the candies for this guy are hard to find. It's a very rare spawn, but if you do get it, 50 candies, or if you do have one around there, it is worth the investment. I'm not sure if you really need 2 moves on this one. You can get away with 1, but definitely consider it. Just look at what it can do in this meta. Right now, let's see, here we are. Flash Cannon, the 1-bar move. They shield. Good for them. Alrighty, we're going to shield because we want to see how this confusion damage does. And Altaria is almost defeated. Now he has a choice, shield or not shield. Let it go down, perfect, and more damage for the next Pokemon. Up next we have the Emperor Empoleon. Empoleon is a Steel and Water type Pokemon. Its only weaknesses are going to be to Electric, Fighting, and Ground, with a lot of resistances off to the right. And I haven't made one personally yet, so I can't really tell you how good it is personally. I've seen a lot of people use it online. It does look like you can definitely use it. The waterfall damage is going to hurt. Empoleon beats Bastiodon. It loses to Lucario. So those are some of the important matchups that you should pay attention to. And that waterfall damage is just so brutal. You can definitely use this guy if you have the candies for it. And for my honorable mention, I have Magneton with an attack stat of 223, defense of 169, stamina of 137. It's going to be weak to Fighting, Fire, and a 4 times weakness to Ground. Now, the only good one you can bring in is the Double Legacy Thundershock and Discharge, which I am very lucky to have at 1497. Here we are. If you don't have these moves, it's probably not worth bringing in because it's a little squishy. But if you are able to catch someone without a shield or not shielding because they underestimate it, you can put in work because Discharge just comes out so fast and wrecks so many people in the meta. But there's going to be those matchups that you definitely cannot hang with, and there's going to be some that you can surprise them. Alrighty trainers, that is the Kingdom Cup Steel type meta. Good luck on your Kingdom Cups. If you found anything helpful, please drop a like. I really do appreciate it. Thank you for the view, and hopefully we all have some good lucks on our Kingdom Cup. Mine is coming up, so hopefully I did my homework. Good luck everyone, and until next time trainers, battle on!